This program proudly presented by Yellow, supported by American Express, Optus and Qantas Business Rewards.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Matters. I'm Peter Applebaum. Tonight's episode focuses on how to build your brand. Does building a brand really matter for small businesses? Well, if you want to win more business, attract the best employees and stand out in an ocean of competitors, the answer is definitely yes. So, how do you build your professional and personal brand? Our panel of marketing experts are here to answer that question. Tonight we're going to speak to Erin Williamson from Yellow, Kevin Butler from Zenith Payments and Gabrielle Thompson from the Australian World Orchestra. But first, our case study for the week. This skincare company, Dermalogica, is an excellent example of the benefits of consistently building a brand that is relevant and attractive to the target market. Let's find out more. Tell us a little bit about Dermalogica.
Yeah, so Dermalogica is a skincare company. It's what we call a professional brand, so it's sold through a professional channel, being beauty salons, somebody that is qualified as a skincare therapist. And it's a subsidiary here in Australia of the American parent. So it's manufactured, and we import and distribute it here through various channels. Okay,
very strong brand, and that's the advantage you have. There are a lot of people watching this show who may not have such a strong brand. What would you say to them about the need to build a brand versus look after cash flow?
Yeah, I guess it would differ from company to company. In our case, because we are a subsidiary of a parent company, we had a little bit more luxury in that we were well funded to start with. So it wasn't as critical to be able to make some money in those first, say, year or so. But certainly, the most critical thing for us was building that brand awareness. And for many years, people said, "What's this Dermalogica?" So it took a
Rogue T.
The Rogue T came into it. So the first thing we did really was appoint a PR company. That was very critical to us. There are obviously a lot of other brands around, and we had to establish why our brand was unique, what it was that was different about us, get that credibility behind us. So that was our first step, and that proved to be really, really successful to get the press on board.
So PR was a very successful strategy for you in the early days. Are you still a big believer in PR?
Absolutely. Obviously things have changed and evolved. We're now in the digital age, whereas back 23 years ago, it really was the media, the magazines, the newspapers, the beauty editors, and we really had to get them on board. And I think we had a little bit of luck on our side. We arrived in this country with a market that probably wasn't very well, in a market that wasn't crowded with too many brands. So to make our mark as a new contemporary American brand, that was really what we wanted to do. There were a lot of European brands around at that time, so it was critical that we establish our uniqueness. And I think that's the critical thing, is to try and establish what it is about your brand that is different to so many other brands. Everyone's making very similar claims, everyone's got similar name products, they're available in similar channels. So what is it about your brand that is completely different? And that's really what we had to create. So our background is very much about education. We always say we're an education company that happens to sell a skincare brand. And
that's an unusual positioning.
Yeah, it was. The founder of our business, she believed very much in really upping the levels, I guess, of education of the skincare therapist. Many decades ago, you went to your beauty therapist to go and sort of be pampered and have the beauty treatment. And I think she really felt strongly about moving away from that to make it more about skin health and having the healthiest and best skin you can have, not about beauty. So she had established so much education around the skincare therapist. So that's really how we established ourselves here. We had a range of different classes we could offer the skincare therapist. Oh, and we happen to have this brand called Dermalogica as well.
So what was the most important aspect in building the Dermalogica brand? Was it building those personal relationships with the B2B skincare clinics, or consumer advertising and marketing?
Certainly initially it was developing those relationships. The industry we're in is a very personal industry, it's about establishing that rapport with your clients. Our stockists have their own clients that they look after. So getting those relationships right and being true to that was way more important initially than investing in that consumer advertising.
But that came later, I see.
Yeah, absolutely, that came later. We wanted to establish the brand, and we mentioned through PR. And then it really became word of mouth. So we used our skincare therapists in our salons to really be our ambassadors or our advocates for the brand after that.
What have been the most effective brand initiatives that have worked to build a Dermalogica brand?
I think the important thing is that we innovate all the time. So we had a great stable of products to launch with, but constantly we are innovating those products. So every year we would launch 3 new products depending on what the ingredients that we now are able to source. And we introduced something called face mapping, which is where the face is sort of divided into sections, and we analyse each one of those sections to be able to read what is going on underneath the skin. So that in turn built our credibility as a skincare brand that delivers the education, that delivers the results. It's not just about what's happening on the surface of the skin, but how are the hormones or your diet influencing what's happening on the outside of your skin.
And was that unique to Dermalogica?
Absolutely. So we've trademarked that concept, and it's something that is absolutely crucial to all the treatments that we teach our stockists about.
So what can we learn from Dermalogica's success? Make your brand unique, focus on building strong relationships with your trade and partners, and educate them so that they become your best and most loyal brand ambassadors, and finally, use free publicity to get the word out. If you have any questions or suggestions, let us know on Facebook at Marketing Matters TV or contact us via the website at marketingmatterstv.com. After the break, we speak to 3 experts on the American Express marketing panel.
Marketing Matters returns soon, thanks to American Express Business Explorer. Let your business expenses reward you. Marketing Matters is proudly presented by Yellow. Do business with Yellow. Connect at yellow.com.au.
Welcome back. To discuss how to build your brand, we're joined by Erin Williamson, Senior Brand Marketing Manager at Yellow, Kevin Butler, General Manager of Zenith Payments, and Gabrielle Thompson, CEO of the Australian World Orchestra. Now, Erin, as a small business, my primary focus is cash flow and keeping customers happy. Why should I spend time on building a brand?
Well, Peter, it's a great question. But, you know, what is a brand? When we break it down, it's just about being distinctive and memorable and setting yourself apart from your competitors. So I think every small business should devote some time to thinking how they can do that. You mentioned keeping your customers happy, and that's a really good place to start. So my tip for small businesses would be just think about what you can do, one thing, better than the guy next door.
Aha. So leading on from that, Kevin, where do you begin when you're trying to build a brand, in addition to what Erin just said?
Yeah, I think it's really about knowing who your customer is and what their challenges are and what problems and what you can bring to the equation in terms of solutions. And following on from Erin, it's really also how you can differentiate yourselves, because it's a crowded marketplace out there and your brand really has to show how you're different.
Okay.
Get attention.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle, does having a strong brand lead to a successful business?
Well, I wonder sometimes whether that's, I think, one of the big conundrum questions. But I think by and large, yes, it does. If you have a strong brand, and that means you have recognised where you are different in the market and what is your point of difference, then doing that brand exercise, I think, automatically makes you a stronger organisation, and it should, therefore, make you more successful.
Over a period of time.
Yeah. In our case with the Australian World Orchestra, we had to start from scratch in a market, as you say, which is quite crowded, and we're only on once a year. We bring everybody together and it's once a year, so we have to rebuild that brand or manage to keep it going. So without a good brand presence, so people go, oh yeah, I remember them, you're nowhere.
Right. So let's have a look at some research. The first one we're going to look at is some done by us for Pew Profile, and they had a look at which products are you more likely to choose a well-known brand. And interestingly, why would you be choosing a well-known brand? And interestingly, superior quality is more than twice the most popular reason. Erin, why do you think that's the case?
Look, it doesn't really surprise me. I think what you would find, particularly in brands that are of a luxury nature, that they put a lot of time and effort into building the perception of quality.
Right.
And so, yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
Okay, and looking at the next slide, if we actually have a look at which products are more likely to choose a well-known brand, I guess electronics comes number one and then household appliances. So, Kevin, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was surprised on this with health and beauty being only 40%, because I would have thought that was an area where people really rely on the brand. So that struck me. But electronics was one where we wasn't surprising at all.
Look, it's a really good point, Kevin. I actually wondered if, the rise of, Sephora and Mecca Cosmetica, which are aggregators of all these brands, cosmetic brands that are probably a little bit less heard of in this country, could have sort of spurred that.
And diluted it down.
Yes.
Okay, well, coming up after the break, the panel discusses this week's marketing news and views.
Marketing Matters is back in a moment, thanks to Optus. Say yes to growing your business. Marketing Matters is proudly presented by Yellow. Do business with Yellow. Connect at yellow.com.au.
Welcome back. This week on Marketing News and Views, Kellogg's new marketing campaign features YouTube influencer Simone Gertz, whose videos and quirky use of useless machines has attracted over 940,000 subscribers. Let's have a quick look at the video.
My name is Simone, and I'm known for building useless machines. Today we're making a Kellogg's Crunchy Nut snack cup, and that's how I make a snack.
Erin, can small businesses benefit from using influencers like bloggers, or is it just the domain of larger companies like Kellogg's?
Well, I think there's something in that clip which is really key. So firstly, Crunchy Nut have built this perception of being really zany over the last couple of years, and they've paired with an influencer who is clearly left of centre. So, I mean, I think that is key, that you have a good match between the brand and the influencer. But I would say that small businesses should really watch this space. It may be more accessible to larger companies at the moment, but I would encourage small businesses to look at platforms such as Tribe. So what they do is they partner Instagram influencers with businesses and connect them. So for a couple of $100, they too can sort of have influencer activity.
So it is accessible for smaller businesses?
Absolutely. We're only going to see more of it, so I say get on board.
Okay, well, Kevin, to that point, are influencers more believable than traditional or digital marketing campaigns or normal digital marketing campaigns?
Yeah, I think they are, because they can bring a sense of realness to the equation, whereas traditionally, for digital campaigns, it may just rely on some testimonials, which can often be quite bland, where with an influencer you can combine video and you can combine a real product showcase, if you like.
Useless machines, as we saw.
Absolutely. It's a real quirky way for Kellogg's, as everyone was saying, to get that message across around changing it from being just a breakfast cereal to also a stack. And I suppose had to do something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle, what are some of the different ways you feel that businesses and organisations like Australian World Orchestra can build their brands using online or offline influencers?
I think that's a very interesting question for us, because I have discovered that we have been trying to use an influencer, and it's been difficult for us because we're not a large organisation. So people don't know whether they should really back us and be that. So very interesting, your comment about Tribe. I think for us, it's about building the people that are so well known, and in our case, who founded our organisation, and putting their face out as the face of...
So grow your own, in other words.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the only way you can do it.
So I guess one of the questions that goes back to, I guess we're talking about Dermalogica. Do you think media exposure is vital for brand building, Erin?
Look, I don't think necessarily that's the right place to start. I think you've got to start internally, and you've got to get your brand promise absolutely spot on, and you've got to make sure that you're consistently delivering upon that promise.
Right.
When that is really solid, then certainly media is, one of the better ways to get that message out to the market.
And obviously in this digital age, things have sped up so much. Do you think it's easier and quicker to use influencers, Kevin, to help your brand?
Yeah, I think it is. It's a good way to get out there, and with platforms like Aaron mentioned, you can really drive it. And you know, I really love the scenarios where the company founder may be the influencer as well, and can really drive their knowledge and expertise.
Like
across.
Alex, Australian World Orchestra.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it.
Okay, so Gabrielle, do you feel that digital has been critical to you? I know sometimes you may have an older target market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know that our demographic of ours. Yeah, we're still doing that straddle, very much so. We've got that demographic that still reads and buys from a newspaper. We put an article in the Australian and away they go. They pick it up, they go, I'll go and buy my ticket and do it. And then we have the other side that are sitting there going, oh, this looks quite cool, I might go and try that, and I'll straight onto their laptop or their palm. But I think that long term, we've got to aim to be basically digital. Yeah. I think that's where it's going.
Gabrielle, it's such a good point. I mean, the way that we approach it is we try and consider the customer, put ourselves in their shoes and think about their daily habits. And some of those might be digital, some of them might be not digital. So it's really combining the two into the one campaign.
So non-digital still works?
Still works.
Still works.
So, but how do I choose? If I want to build this great brand, Kevin, how do I do it?
Yeah, it's really looking, it comes back to, again, looking at your customers and seeing what they really want and how you can help them. What we did with influencers in the digital sense was we actually involved them in our B2B Pay product early on in the equation. So we actually sought their feedback and, you know, and got them to be actual users of the product. So when we then engaged them further on, it became more genuine.
Okay. I'd like to thank Erin, Kevin and Gabrielle for their time and insights on this week's panel, and we'll see you again after this short break.
Marketing Matters is back in a moment, thanks to Qantas Business Rewards, rewarding Australian business. Proudly presented by Yellow. Do business with Yellow. Connect at yellow.com.au.
Welcome back. Let's review our key tips on how you can build your brand. First, why should I pick you? No matter what you want, there are always lots and lots of options. So you need to be very clear why your customers should pick your brand instead of all the others out there. First, have a superb answer to the question, what makes my brand unique? And then make sure you stand for something in the hearts and minds of your target market. Second, be authentic and deliver on your promises. It's a message we often talk about on Marketing Matters. You're about to enter a relationship with your customers. As with any positive relationship, you need to be genuine and always deliver on your promises. And when you think about the brands you're loyal to, isn't that exactly why you love them and keep going back to them? Next, turn your partners into brand advocates. Be like Dermalogica and work with your partners. They want you to be successful because your success is their success. Give them the tools and the ammunition to go out into the world and be your best possible advocates. Then, free publicity is good publicity. Why pay thousands for media exposure when, if you're smart, you can get it for free? TV, newspapers, magazines, radio, websites and blogs are hungry for fresh content that's interesting and relevant to their viewers, listeners and readers. Find interesting news angles about your brand and watch the publicity flood in. And finally, be consistent and follow up. Brands, like Rome, are not built in a day. You need to stay the course and keep doing all the things we've covered in this episode. Marketing success is as much about consistent reinforcement as it is about strategy, budget, etc. Keep showing up. And some viewer comments from last week's episode on how digital marketing can transform your business. Melissa from Sydney was surprised that Google ranked highest for finding out about new brands, shows where your money should be put. And Dean from Perth wrote, non-digital marketing definitely still works for us, would be a big mistake to ignore it. And Erin mentioned that earlier. Thank you very much for your feedback. And that's all for now. And don't forget to give us your comments, suggestions and questions on Facebook at Marketing Matters TV or via the website at marketingmatterstv.com. Thanks for watching Marketing Matters. We look forward to seeing you next week.
This program proudly presented by Yellow, supported by American Express, Optus and Qantas Business Rewards.